IAEA. Well, let's get more now from France 24's Reza Sayar, who joins us from Tehran. Reza, what does this announcement tell us about what's going on there in Iran?
Yeah, Tom, I think it tells us that Iran is still looking for international support with the nuclear agreement, and it's hoping this decision it made today will get some international support. And it also makes clear Iran's strategy in the face of U.S. pressure on Iran, in the face of the so-called Trump administration's maximum pressure campaign. It seems the more Washington is applying pressure on Iran, the more it's being more aggressive and calling on the international community to add more sanctions to Iran. Iran is becoming more amenable, more agreeable, more diplomatic, more flexible. And all of this, Iran's moves, is seemingly flying in the face of this narrative that Washington is putting out, that Iran is intractable, that it's an evil actor with malign intentions, with evil intentions of building a nuclear bomb by deceiving the international community. Briefly, let's tell you what happened today after a visit by the IAEA chief, Rafael Grossi, after his meeting with Iranian leaders. The two sides agreed that Iran's comprehensive safeguard agreement and the additional protocol would remain in place. These are two mechanisms that were agreed upon in 2016 after the Iran nuclear deal, which allow for more intrusive inspections of Iran's nuclear facilities. Iran also agreeing to give UN inspectors access to two former nuclear facilities that appeared in a report back in June. When these two facilities appeared in this report, there was a lot of concern in European powers, Israel, Washington, all of them wanting these sites to be inspected. And essentially today, Iran, with its agreement, said if you have issues with these facilities, you're welcome to come see them. Iran telling the world that we still believe in diplomacy and we believe this issue can be solved with more dialogue in diplomacy, Tom.
Okay, so something of a new strategy being adopted there by Iran. And Reza, what do you think the country is hoping it's going to achieve with that strategy then?
Yeah, I think this strategy is going to do several things. First off, it's going to tell the world that Iran seemingly wants diplomacy and dialogue, that it wants to cooperate with the international community, wants to cooperate with the IAEA. It also puts pressure on the international community, especially European powers, especially European signatories to the nuclear agreement, to continue to support Iran and not to take Washington's side in this conflict. It also seemingly takes some wind away from the sails of Washington. Again, this narrative that Iran doesn't want diplomacy and it has evil intentions. And if things work out for Iran, Washington could be even more isolated. So it's a fascinating strategy by Iran, again, in the face of maximum pressure. They're seemingly being more agreeable and diplomatic. We'll see how things work out in the days and weeks to come.
Reza Sayar in Tehran, thank you very much indeed for bringing us up to speed.